the broadcast. All right, hey, we're live. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody on the World Wide Web. All right, now let's go and put ourselves live on Alpha Geek Radio. Audio's on. And video's on. Ooh, looks like his stuff is moving faster now. Must be that new equipment that Patreon bought. All right, and we're live. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to hit audio recording. Hello,
yep.
Hello, hello. We're good?
Just finished a chicken strip.
Let's start the show. Here we go.
You are listening to Alpha Geek Radio.
The following is a production of Galactic Netcasts.
We interrupt this program to give you a bulletin just received from one of our naval units at sea. A large object traveling at supersonic speed is headed over the North Atlantic toward the east coast of the United States.
This Earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder.
This could be the beginning of the end for the human race. Human beings cower before the onslaught of these unearthly enemies.
Hello there. It is Thursday, April 7th, 2016. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 180. We are 20 episodes away from 200. And of course, as always, a production of Galactic Netcasts. I'm Dave Nelson. Along with me, as always, Brad and Anessa. Brad Ludwig and Anessa Moyes. Hello, you two.
Hello. Hello.
How are things in Wausau, Wisconsin?
Cool.
Slightly snowy.
Cloudy.
We had snow here this week. We had a lot of snow yesterday, but it pretty much has all melted.
Yeah, we've been getting like snow or ice or some sort of icy precipitation the past couple of days, and then we get like a break, and then we get some more. So we've got some more lined up tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and I think Sunday as well. Is
it getting to a point where it's warm enough that a lot of it melts shortly after it falling? Or?
Oh yeah, most of it's melted. Okay. The only thing that sticks around are like the stuff that they've shoveled, so the piles of snow take a little longer to melt away, but everything that's actually on the ground, gone.
Yeah, spring snow isn't so bad just because you know that it's not going to stick around very much longer, and it'll get warmer soon.
Yeah, it's just a little annoying because Wisconsin started out with this random mild beginning to March, and you're like, oh, spring is here. And then it's like, ha, just kidding, have some snow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just been like long and drawn out, and just, it won't stop.
It's like, I don't mind the cold. I don't mind the snow. But I kind of want it to all happen during winter. And then the official first day of spring, it's like, a couple of showers and we're done. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, Ottawa is supposed to be getting more snow in April than we did in December, which is a problem.
Thanks, Canada. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Trudeau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody, where we talk about extraterrestrials and their appearances in film. Let's see. Let's run them down. Film, TV, video games, comic books, real books, science. What else could we find them? Video games. There's something right there. And of course, real life. The show, we break it down into 3 sections. The news, the sightings. I will not do that again. I'm sorry. And our picks or warnings for the week. And we might as well just stop dilly-dallying and get the show on the road with the news.
In the news.
And it does look like Anessa has the first story. Anessa, to you.
Woohoo! First story. So 50 years ago, Michigan Congressman Gerald Ford made UFOs a political issue. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, we don't have our sound effects up.
Oh,
sorry.
That's fine. I can make my own. So 50 years ago, soon-to-be president and then Representative Gerald R. Ford changed the conversation about UFOs in a very permanent way. In 1966, a growing number of reported sightings of unidentified flying objects were coming out of Michigan. Naturally, people were concerned. Being the representative of the state's 5th district, Ford shared their concern and called upon Congress to conduct a, quote, congressional inquiry into the matter. UFOs were getting a lot of media attention, and Ford didn't shy away from the spotlight. He issued a pre-hearing press release making the case for government transparency and calling out a prominent astronomer, J. Allen Hynek, as flippant. Quote, flippant. Ford proposed that either the Science and Astronautics Committee or the Armed Services Committee of the House schedule UFO hearings and, quote, invite testimony from both the executive branch of the government and some of the persons who claim to have seen UFOs. Politically speaking, he was all in. Now, it's important to remember that this is 1966. We're talking Cold War, post-Cuban Missile Crisis, hide under your desks in the event of a nuclear attack America. This stuff wasn't funny. It's weird and frightening. When Ford called for a formal congressional inquiry, he lent a degree of credibility to loose rumors, but he also calmed the public panic. His commitment to transparency on the parts of the Air Force and the government sent a clear message. The government won't hide hard truths. Ford didn't get his congressional inquiry, but he did get a major report from the University of Colorado Boulder and the Air Force's Project Blue Book, which was responsible for investigating UFO sightings. This Project Blue Book investigation lasted a little over 3 years before it was terminated in 1969. According to a fact sheet distributed by the U.S. Air Force to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, the decision to discontinue UFO investigations was based on an evaluation of a report prepared by the University of Colorado entitled Scientific Study of Unidentified Flying Objects, a review of the University of Colorado's report by the National Academy of Sciences, Past UFO Studies and Air Force Experience Investigating UFO Reports during the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. So what did the report find? Between 1947 and 1969, Project Blue Book had 12,618 reports of UFOs, 700 of which were deemed, quote, unidentified. Many were explained as being meteorological events, classified test flights, weather balloons, and things of that nature. Those that remained unidentified apparently lacked sufficiently compelling evidence to keep Project Blue Book afloat. The distributed Air Force document goes on to state, as a result of these investigations and studies and experience gained from investigating UFO reports since 1948, the conclusions of Project Blue Book are 1. No UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the U.S. Air Force has given any indication of threat to our national security. 2. There has been no evidence submitted to or discovered by Air Force that sightings categorized as unidentified represent technological developments or principles beyond the range of present-day scientific knowledge. And 3. There has been no evidence indicating that sightings categorized as unidentified are extraterrestrial vehicles. Even after the Air Force hung up its tin hat, though, civilians continued investigations into UFOs. Today, organizations like MUFON exist to catalog and track UFO sightings.
Why did you say it that way?
I was referencing the X-Files where they refer to MUFON as MUFON.
Yeah, I was trying to remember because that sounded familiar. I couldn't figure. I couldn't remember why that was. Okay, go ahead.
It's the X-Files. I blame the X-Files. I saw that and I'm like, I gotta say MUFON.
Thanks, X-File.
Yes. Thanks, X-Files. As we become increasingly convinced of the probability that we're not alone in this universe, the investigation of unexplained events and UFO sightings seem more urgent and more credible than ever before. There's reason to think that without Ford's willingness to risk his reputation on an instance that UFO sightings be investigated, there may not have been an investigation or a report at all. Ford gave the witnesses behind these sightings credibility and drew attention to a need for an explanation, no matter how vague. Though there was never a formal congressional hearing, Ford's push for transparency from the government and the military was an important move and had everyone from politicians to mailmen thinking about UFOs seriously. Whether or not we have, quote, the whole truth is still a matter that conspiracy theorists and those who want to believe are ready and willing to debate. Any way you spin the flying disc, though, the original man who wanted to believe just might have been Gerald R. Ford.
Oh, so he was the original Mulder.
Kind of. He was more of the, hey, I want you to go out and do some research and see if this is true. Like, he didn't actively do the research, I don't think, so he wasn't quite like Mulder, but he still believed that the truth is out there.
Well,
he wanted to believe.
Somebody has to be an administrator, right? Somebody has to be the leader.
Right. So he would be more like the Skinner.
Yeah. Although Skinner really didn't believe at first.
He didn't, but he's like a mix between Mulder and Skinner.
Okay.
Like he wanted for these agents to go out and investigate these sightings, no matter how vague they were. And I mean, yeah, it's not like this isn't a current news story, but I just thought it was really interesting to, it's a background piece of kind of where we are today, I guess. Like, how much different would things be if Ford hadn't made that push to try to get the government to be more transparent, more honest, try to investigate people's sightings and experiences of, you know, unidentified flying objects, whether they're terrestrial based or extraterrestrial. So I don't know. I just thought this was a really interesting historical piece.
I like that you have brought a couple of historical pieces to the show of recent dates. I don't know. It brings a whole new kind of adds a facet to the podcast.
Right. And I mean, there's a lot of stories out there, and some of them, they do kind of start to sound the same after a while. But at the same time, it's like, how did we get to where we are today?
Yeah.
And I think this kind of helps shed a little light, gives you something to think about. Like, hey, like, you don't really think too much about people investigating UFOs beyond more recent with their photographs and especially videos, cell phone videos. Sure, they took pictures back in the day, but more people have cameras in their pockets than ever before. So
I like it. It really kind of adds some perspective on things.
Yeah, and you just kind of forget that there were people that there were politicians that wanted to find out if there was something to these unidentified flying objects.
It's not all crazy conspiracy theorists or Joe Bob on the front porch in Alabama going, "What's that light up in the sky? Is that one of them UFOs?
I reckon it's one of them there aliens.
Martha, give me a beer."
Get it yourself.
I'm going to shoot it with my shotgun.
Yeah.
The beer?
No, that'd be waste.
That would be a waste of a beer and a shotgun shell.
Well, that's what I thought.
No, I didn't know anything about this. Ford was involved at all in any kind of UFO stuff. That's interesting. I mean, you mainly hear, whenever you hear a president or before they were a president involved, mentioned in anything UFO, it's usually like Jimmy Carter supposedly saw a UFO once. There's been a couple of presidents who supposedly saw.
Oh, then there was, whose daughter was it? Eisenhower's great-granddaughter that we talked about last week, the vegan?
It was
Yeah,
Yeah, well, because, he supposedly signed a treaty with the aliens.
Yep.
So you hear about stuff like that, but you don't always hear about other politicians. They're a little less known in the UFO world, at least to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason why I find these historical pieces very interesting, because it's like, oh, cool. I didn't know that. And maybe there's some listeners that didn't know that either. So maybe they'll think that it's cool. Or they're just going to snooze for 10 minutes and wait for the next story.
No,
What?
they'll be more interested, and they will go to the show notes and click on the link and read more about it. That's what they're going to do.
Sweet. Because, yeah, I had found this on a website called inverse.com. So they do culture, life and work, and science and tech
Cool.
stuff. So, yeah.
All right. So speaking of our website, you can also find links to our social networks there. We are all over the place, and I have to thank Brad for inviting a whole bunch. Actually, I have to thank Brad for a couple of things here. I have to thank Brad for getting our Facebook page verified this week. Way to go, Brad.
Thanks.
Good job. So we're like legit now and stuff.
Totes.
And you also invited a bunch of your Facebook friends to our page. And I've been trying to get Stephanie to do the same thing. And she just, I don't know.
All right. Fair enough.
No, I did it this week. So we got a few of my friends, got a few of your friends. So every little bit counts. And that is our Facebook page. Like us on Facebook if you want to get the latest podcast episodes in your news feed. If you don't want to subscribe to the podcast individually, you can just like our Facebook page, and that way it'll come up in your news feed. Hopefully, if it doesn't get filtered out, because Facebook's what's it called? The mumbo jumbo, the how they filter the news feed. What's it called? The word.
How they filter the news feed?
Yes.
I'm not thinking. I can't think of
Algorithm. Their algorithm.
Oh, okay.
They're goat spider.
They're magic.
They're-
Sorry, I'm like way distracted by the news that Build-A-Bear has finally come out with a Star Wars Wicket, so
Yes.
we can have Ewok.
Yeah, we were Stephanie and I were talking about that tonight. We're both very excited about that. And then we got sidetracked looking at the DC superhero Build-A-Bears as well.
Oh yeah, because we went to Build-A-Bear a couple of weeks or so ago when we were in Madison. Ended up getting, well, I got a Darth Vader themed Build-A-Bear, but his name is Alfred Vader.
It's a fact.
and then I got Chewbacca, the female Chewie.
Come to the cute side.
Yeah. So now I need Wicket.
All right, so let's move on with the news. This story struck me as very funny. Gym ad claims aliens will target fat people. This is in the UK. So Daryl or any of our other UK listeners, this might be around where you live. A Fit for Less. Do they have Fit for Lesses there in Wisconsin?
Fit for Less?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, they have them here. It's like you can get a gym membership for like $10 a month.
Oh, that would be like Planet Fitness here.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like $10 a month.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
okay.
Planet Fitness now as well.
But no, Fit for Less, it says Canada Discount Fitness Gyms when I did a Google search. So it's a Canadian thing.
Well, it sounds like it's in the UK as well. So this Fit for Less in the UK recently introduced a billboard urging people to work out because aliens will, quote, take the fat ones first. Included are images of flying saucers hovering, or a flying saucer hovering over a slightly bell-shaped body, and an alien front and center looking directly at the viewer as though picking from a menu. People are understandably not in love with this billboard. It's unclear whether the ad is suggesting that aliens have a thing for overweight people or are targeting them specifically to soak up all those sweet nutrients, or whatever the ad instead is saying that slim folks can run faster and avoid the little green men. What is clear is that offering sanctuary for an alien invasion is misguided, or is a misguided incentive at best. This is the whatever website I got this from. It's their commentary. And that the gym CEO who refuses to take the billboard down could possibly use a good probing. That's according to fastcocreate.com. That's fastcocreate.com.
I was thinking adipose from Doctor Who. Maybe they're little fat beings that are aliens and they.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about those guys. Okay.
So, but I was talking to Brad about that because the whole aliens are gonna come steal the fat people, but then apparently they're also gonna steal vegans as well. Like,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
from last week's story. So I'm like, if you happen to be a person with a poor metabolism who is a vegan, then you're just like screaming at the skies for the aliens to come get you.
But like this article says, why are the aliens? Is it because they're slower and they can't run as fast? Is that why the aliens will target them first?
Well, I mean, you associate overweight people with being unfit, so you think that they're slower, they're weaker, they're
Okay.
gonna run out of energy quicker, so they're the easier targets, kind of like with the zombie apocalypse with Zombieland, rule number 1, cardio.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Oh, they should okay, if this, well, no, that would also piss people off. I was going to say you could do a similar billboard. If they wanted to continue pissing people off, they could do a series of billboards, the next one being zombies.
yeah.
They could do all the archetypes in like genre fiction or science fiction, like the zombies or the aliens or the robot overlords or
Chupacabras.
they can get Daryl Johnson involved because he does that sci-fi survival guide podcast, which is excellent, by the way. If you guys aren't listening to that yet, please do so. gncast.com. I forget the short URL. You'll find it though.
It is very good.
All right, so there you go. That's my news story. We would like your help in supporting us. And when I say supporting us, I don't mean like holding us up physically. But I mean, in a way, it is kind of like physically supporting us, but not. Patreon.com/galacticnetcasts. We have a page on Patreon, which is like a crowdfunding website, if you're not familiar with it. And all we're asking for is as little as $1 a month. Okay? What that $1 a month will get you is satisfaction that you're helping us pay for vital things to keep us doing podcasts, like the web hosting and the audio hosting. But also for that $1 a month, you'll get exclusive access to our Patreon-only Slack chat channel, where you can talk to us anytime you want. Because most of the hosts on the Galactic Netcast Network have the app installed on their smartphone. And if you chat with us in the Slack chat, one of us is undoubtedly going to answer. Maybe not right away, but they'll get around to answering. Or you can chat with us during the podcast as well on that exclusive Patreon-only Slack chat. So again, patreon.com/galacticnetcast. Your $1 a month can help us keep the lights on, keep the bills paid. We're not trying to get rich off this. We're just trying to get things getting done, taken care of. All right? One more time, patreon.com/galacticnetcast. We thank you for your support of the Galactic Netcast Podcast Network. All right, third and final news story. Brad, it's yours, and you got the science this week.
I've got the science. Red dwarfs could have life-harboring planets in orbit, SETI says. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about exoplanets and things like that. We usually look at stars that are a lot like our sun, and that's mostly because the habitable zone is much wider, I guess I don't want to say bigger, but it's wider. But these SETI scientists here are saying that it's possible that red dwarfs could also support life. Red dwarfs have been one of the most sidelined celestial objects as far as search of intelligent extraterrestrials is concerned because astronomers have long believed that conditions around these old stars is not conducive to life. Oh, it's conducive, sorry. However, the SETI Institute now believes that there is a possibility that intelligent aliens may have evolved on planets orbiting red dwarfs, and if they are present, they are an ideal choice to look for radio signals transmitted by these aliens. The Institute has announced its intentions of expanding the search for intelligent extraterrestrials by incorporating area in the vicinity of 20,000 red dwarfs. That's a lot of red dwarfs. One of the reasons why red dwarfs have been neglected till today is that astronomers have been proposing, like I said, that life could only exist on planets orbiting sun-like stars and not around red dwarfs. Further, the habitable zones around the red dwarfs would be rather narrow, for they are relatively colder, and the zone would be quite close to the star. If that's the case, any planet that is orbiting the star in the habitable zone would get tidally locked, thereby forcing it into temperature extremes. What does that mean? This means that the side facing the star will be too hot for water to stay in liquid form or atmosphere to hold up the gases. But new studies have shown that if planets are orbiting red dwarfs in the habitable zone, there is a possibility that they could harbor water and even atmospheres. If that's the case, then heat transport wouldn't be an issue, as heat would be transported from the lit side of the dark side of the planet, and a significant fraction of the planet would be habitable. Further studies have also indicated that somewhere between 1/6 and 1/2 of red dwarf stars have planets in their habitable zones, a percentage comparable to and possibly greater than for sun-like stars. Also, red dwarfs have been around for a long time, with all of them being billions of years older than our sun. This means that planets around these stars would have had more time to produce intelligent species, and that's what SETI Institute is now going to look for. The search is being conducted on the SETI Institute's Allen Telescope Array, located in the Cascade Mountains of Northern California. This grouping of 42 antennas, I like that it's 42.
That's perfect. You know they had to be planned.
Had to be.
Somebody
Had to
was
be.
a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan.
Can currently observe 3 stars simultaneously, so that's going to save some time. They got 20,000 to get through. The new red dwarf survey is planned to take 2 years. Targets are being chosen from a list of approximately 70,000 red dwarfs compiled by Boston University astronomer Andrew West. The search will also incorporate relevant new data as generated by NASA's TESS, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite Project, which will examine nearby stars, including red dwarfs, for planets. And this comes to us from dispatchtribunal.com.
Dispatch Tribunal.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting name.
It is. Not going to lie. I need to... There we go. I'm just pulling up the website right now.
Are you going to show it?
I am. Let
Cool.
me share the screen for our YouTube folk to see what is what.
Oh, neat. It's good
So
looking.
this is the... I'm going to pull up the About Us and find out more about them. A global news agency covering major news stories in business, health, science, and technology categories. There you go.
Interesting.
Just a couple of folks, but
yeah,
they're doing the good work. Here we
Yeah.
go. This is a great photo of a red dwarf.
Oh, neat. That is pretty. Now, that makes a lot of sense that there'd be more advanced civilizations orbiting red dwarf planet or red dwarf stars. That makes that's hard to say.
As I recall, Krypton orbited a red star. I don't know if they amended that eventually to a red dwarf, but
God.
I know, right?
Be Superman out there.
There could be Supermen out there.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome.
I am now unfunny repeater guy, just repeating what you're saying. Nobody likes unfunny repeater guy.
All right, neat story, Brad. Thanks for sharing. That was
Absolutely.
And SETI, their new pitch, their new push is this is the start of a new initiative for SETI, and I think this is part of that big that Russian millionaire guy. I think this is part of that money they got from that guy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but
Vladimir Putin.
yes,
Just kidding.
All right, there you go. That is our news. And I got nothing. I thought there was something between news and sightings, but apparently not. So let's just get the sightings going here. Yeah.
Please identify the craft you witnessed.
A black, triangular, three-dimensional shape, huge, just flying, hovering mimics.
Shaped like almost like between an egg and like a teardrop.
Two long cylinder objects flying over me.
I could see the occupants in it.
Appeared to be rotating, and it was circular and disc shaped. It hovered for maybe about 5 minutes.
When we say sightings, we mean like somebody, walking down a path in some park somewhere. They look up in the sky and they see, oh, it's a flying disc and it's coming towards me. Oh, it's landing. And there's some little green men coming out and they're abducting me. Ah!
No, I just took some acid. Wait, what?
That's your sighting, more or less. And Vanessa was in charge this week getting the sighting. So what'd you dig up?
I believe it was Daryl who dug this up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Daryl.
Yes, thank you.
You should be our full-time producer. Daryl, are you interested? That'd be awesome.
Indeed. So what's happening at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi? Specifically, why are so many UFOs being reported there? Why?
Oh my God.
So this week, reports of a fish-shaped UFO over the airport prompted calls to the government security force responsible for the facility to deal with it.
Say what? What shape was that? Did you say?
Fish.
Fish.
Pescado.
Shape.
Yes.
Okay.
Fish-shaped. What was it, and why is this airport attracting so many UFOs? According to Indian media, a member of the Central Industry Security Force, or the CISF, working in an airport watchtower issued an alarm on March 30th after seeing an unidentified flying object over the apron area where airplanes are parked for boarding and unloading. It looked like a dark-colored balloon floating above the apron area. Specifically, as mentioned before, it looks like a fish. So the CISF is required to notify both the Indian Air Force and National Security Guards before taking action against UFOs. A so-called quick response team was dispatched to shoot down the fish-shaped UFO, but it was gone by the time they arrived and nothing more appeared on air traffic control radar over the area or adjoining aprons. Shoot it down? Is security at the Indira Gandhi International Airport a little jumpy? Well, CIFS Director General Surinder Singh announced at the organization's last big meeting that 62 UFO sightings were reported at the airport in a 4-month period. 62 UFOs in 4 months.
I can see why they'd be a little jumpy.
Yeah. So most airports are still on alert because of the Brussels bombings, and the Indian media said that there were a number of recent hoax reports of the airport. However, Indian media also points out that Delhi police have been authorized since January to, quote, shoot down any unacknowledged flying device in the capital sky, especially in and around the airport, be they paragliders, drones, hot air balloons, or other machines. Yes, it was a fish-shaped floating object, as if we haven't said that enough. That sounds like it might be a balloon, except a balloon would show up on the radar, wouldn't it? Why would this particular airport have so many unresolved UFO reports? Does New Delhi really lead the world in paragliders, drones, hot air balloons, or other hard but not possible to identify flying objects? Why is it so difficult for this particular airport to patrol its perimeter when so many other busy airports in heavily populated metropolitan areas seem to be able to do it effectively and without shooting down UFOs? Or is something else happening at the Indira Gandhi International Airport?
All very good questions.
Yes, and that was taken from the mysteriousuniverse.org.
Oh, I love that website.
I know, it's awesome.
They do good work there as well.
That they do.
Yeah. I think this is the first time that we've reported on a fish-shaped UFO.
It is.
Yeah.
It'd be a little weird. Like when they say fish-shaped, is it like a goldfish? Is it like a betta? Does it have like the long flowy fins? I mean,
I think
what kind of fish are we talking about?
I'm thinking they're probably
Or just like goldfish crackers.
to the typical fish shape, like the standard generic fish that you see, like the fish crackers.
Blowfish.
What?
Blowfish.
A blowfish.
Blowfish. Hootie?
And the blowfish.
Yeah.
Puffs out. Okay, never mind.
I know what you were talking about. But
okay, we'll have the link to that story in the show notes. You can read it for yourself. Read more about the fish-shaped UFO. For more on this podcast, including show notes, like I just said, contact info and subscription links, go to gncasts.com/aliens. That's gncasts.com/aliens for more on the other shows on the Galactic Netcast Network, including Brad's Adventure Party podcast. You can go to just GN Casts. That's GNCASTS.com. You got a new episode coming up or coming out here shortly, Brad?
Yes, actually, I finished editing and doing the write-up to post it well, hopefully tonight or maybe tomorrow.
Okay, so be looking for that. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and click on the subscribe tab at gncasts.com and subscribe to Brad's Adventure Party podcast. It's good stuff. All right, let's move on to picks and warnings, the alien-related stuff that we've been taking into our senses over the last week in the form of entertainment, usually. And it looks like Brad is first up on the docket.
I am. I found a sci-fi short film called U.F.Oh Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. This sounds really familiar. I may have had this as a pick a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah, but go continue because I just want to make sure.
Okay. For those of you who have seen New Girl, the Fox show.
Yes.
The character Max, the actor Max Greenfield plays the character Schmidt. And Schmidt, when he was younger, was heavy set. So the reason why I bring that up is because this, and we've been talking about weight-related issues here, and this really was not picked because to keep a theme. It just happened. This is a 8-minute. Let me pull this up here real quick. Hopefully it doesn't start playing the audio. There we go. It's about a 5-minute, 30-second short film, and it's about he's a vlogger who has his own show, talks about aliens, and then the most incredible thing happens. As he's talking that there's abductions that have been happening in the area, all of a sudden his house starts to shake after he finishes his vlog entry, and bright lights appear, and he is so excited. He's not sure what's happening, and he exits the front of his home, and sure enough, it's a huge flying saucer. And he is hooting and hollering, and he really wants to be abducted so he can know the truth finally about aliens. And I am not going to spoil the rest.
Yeah,
I will say, and the reason why I bring up New Girl and the character Schmidt being heavy set when he was younger is they put Max Greenfield, who is a very slender and fit gentleman, into a quote-unquote fat suit. And that's what they use here to bulk up this particular actor. The suit is okay, but you can you can tell a little bit with the makeup and how his body moves that it is not real weight that he is carrying. But for a short film, that's pretty darn good. So,
and I think they wanted to make it look like he was, I don't know. I think they wanted that look. I don't think that they were trying to make it look fake. I think they were going for the whole fat suit look because it's kind of comical.
The whole this, and just to understand, so people don't get, fat shaming. No, that's actually, this has a very positive, happy ending. He kind of spins this around, and something kind of cool happens at the end of this particular 5-minute and 25-second short film. We'll have the link in the show notes so you can check this out. But if you were to just go to youtube.com and check out and type in U.F.Oh Yeah, Y-E-A-H, you will be able to find this sci-fi short film.
U.F.Oh Yeah.
Yeah. Because he is so excited that he's going to know the truth about aliens. Holy cow.
So on your scale, on the UFOs, no, flying saucer scale, what would you give this one?
Wow. As a short film, for the content, I'll go 3.5 stars. I think I would give it a little bit more if the makeup was just a little bit better.
It's out of 5, right?
Yeah, it's out of 5. Out of 5.
All right.
1,000. Just kidding.
No, just 5.
No, that's respectable.
1,000.
All right. So my pick is National Park Secrets and Legends. Now you might be wondering or asking, Dave, you're speaking into your headphones, your speaker. But Dave, national parks, what does that have to do with UFOs or flying saucers?
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
What do national parks and UFO have to do with UFOs?
Well, I was about to tell you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Weird things happen in national parks. Like,
oh yeah. Wait, what?
like Bigfoots. And
big feet,
big footsies,
large extremities.
Oh yeah.
So this one was titled UFOs at Joshua Tree. And here's the description, and then I'll expand on the description a little bit. Since the 1950s, strange encounters at Joshua Tree National Park had made it a hotbed for UFO sightings and alien encounters. A California engineer claims aliens have compelled him to build a unique advanced structure in the heart of the park, one that some believe may be a time machine. His breathtaking, magical building draws others who believe an ancient race of aliens may have visited Joshua Tree hundreds of thousands of years ago, conducting an advanced DNA experiment that will leave viewers shocked. Dun, dun,
what?
Dun. Do I have that? Yes.
I hope so.
Shocked, I say, shocked.
Nice.
So they talk about this first case they mention on this description. And I for the life of me, I can't remember the name of this building, but it's got a funky ass name, like something Tron. It's got Tron at the end of it. That's all I can remember. But it was funny. And I told my wife,
Building Otron.
Yes, I told Stephanie last night, I can't wait to talk about so and so on the podcast because that's a funny name. Now I can't remember the name. Damn it. Anyways, that's the first case they talk about. The second case is this family back in the 70s, and they look totally like hippies because they're all walking around in their bare feet, and the woman's very much, I think she's got a flower in her hair, and they're at the park. They're camping at the park, and they look outside, and there's I think they started out outside, and they were just looking up in the sky, and they saw these lights, and they were just fascinated by him, and they walked after him, and all of a sudden they realized it was daylight. Oh, missing time. Missing time.
What were they missing?
Time.
Oh.
And then they got into the whole like maybe aliens. And this is another thing I mentioned to Stephanie while we were watching this. I'm like, Brad and I talked about the Anunnakis on the first episode of the Alien Invasion podcast.
Yes, we did.
They mentioned the Anunnakis, about how they came to our planet to basically take our gold. And supposedly there was a lot of gold in Joshua Tree, and that's one of the reasons why that's such a hotbed for UFOs to this date, is the gold. And let's see, what else did they say? Oh, they were talking about how at one time, or the theory is that the Anunnaki came and basically bioengineered humans, taking their DNA and combining it with the hominids or whatever, whoever it was before us. There was two. It was the Neanderthals and the hominids, right? Or no?
There's been more. There's been more past humans.
Yeah, but
Homo sapiens.
Wasn't there? There's two competing races right before humans, though, right? I thought it was the Neanderthals.
They ended up finding within the past 5 years, they have found, and I could be wrong in my remembering, but they had found another pre-Homo sapien person that's like in the link of the chain to get to humans in the chain of evolution. And one of my old professors was one of the professors that was working on the archaeological dig site in Georgia. And when, like, before they had done their paper and had it published and stuff, he's like, this is actually a pretty big thing. But I can't for the life of me think about what they are. And there's actually like that mixed into our DNA. So like, I guess if you do one of the DNA tests that you would find online, whether it's, was it 42 and something? And then
42 and me. Or
43 and me, 42 and me, I don't remember. And then Nat Geo does one. And then there's a couple of others out there. I think Ancestry.com does a DNA analysis as well.
That's a fairly
that's a fairly new one. And Nat Geo is actually kind of cool. But anyway, I think is it the Nat Geo one? They actually tell you like what percentage of Neanderthal DNA or whatever that you have within like your DNA, which is really kind of interesting because you can kind of see some of the characteristics that come out from time to time that you would stereotype Neanderthals as having, like the brow ridges like more defined and the shape of the nose and like the physical body structure and whatnot. So it is mixed in with our DNA. It's just, I think there's more to it than just those, like the two that you're thinking of, but I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Where did Dave
There's
go?
Dave. Hi, Dave.
Sorry.
We missed you.
Yeah. I don't know what you were talking about, Inessa.
Space
But
and
it
stuff.
was it was amazing.
I was like the stuff and the things with the guy and the, hey, Mr. Lady.
All right, let's just move on to our third and final pick or warning. Oh, I'm going to give the thing that I just was talking about. It's going to be 3 out of 5 flying saucers.
Nice.
And you can find the show on the Travel and Escape channel. And I don't know if that's offered in the States. As far as I know, I'm not sure. Just check your local listings. Maybe you'll find it on your cable system. All right, Nanessa, what do you got?
My space milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. No, I'm kidding.
Damn right.
And it's better than yours. No, I watched a movie called Space Milkshake. Spoiler alert, I don't recall seeing any milkshakes in space.
Womp, womp,
I
womp,
know. But this movie, I found it on. Actually, I think I found this on Hulu, but I think it's available on Amazon Prime as well. So anyway, you have 4, quote, bottom of the barrel space waste technicians that find themselves in a battle against time and an alien as their spaceship inadvertently leaps back and forth between dimensions. So
Sounds wonderful. That's a great description. Very short description.
It's a very short description that is on Amazon. So no, it has a really interesting cast. You have I've gone blank. You've got the voice of George Takei in this movie. And then you have Billy Boyd, which was, oh my goodness, which Hobbit was he? Pippin, right? Wasn't he Pip?
I think you're right.
So anyway, he was a Hobbit in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And actually, I think he sings the song at the end of the last Hobbit movie. Like at the closing credits, he's the one that sings the song. So that's Billy Boyd. And then you have Amanda Tipping, which I don't recall what she's from, but you also have
Amanda Tipping or Amanda Tapping?
Tapping, sorry.
Okay, she's from Stargate.
Okay.
SG-1.
And then you have Kristen, was it Kruk, that played Lana Lane in Smallville?
Yep.
Kruick? I don't know. I don't know how to say anything anymore after moving to Wisconsin. It's like my whole understanding of the English language has just gone out the window.
Oh,
like there was a last name that I came across. It was like, I don't remember what it was. It was like BOHN something. And people said it Bane. I'm like, there's an O in it and an H. Where do you get the A sound? That's weird.
Anessa, I'm not going to make this into a competition, but I work for a radio station in Canada, and there's certain words that I've pronounced a certain way my entire life. And now I'm completely wrong. So I have to like make a concerted effort to go, okay, say it this way, say it this way, say it this way. Oh, you said it wrong.
Yeah, that I'm always saying names wrong, so I just kind of give up. But anyway, so yeah, it's a space comedy. It's kind of out there, and to me, it got off to like a slow start, but then it really picked up through like the second half of the film, and you have this. As mentioned, they're on a sanitation station out in space. And at this point in time, there's just a bunch of space debris around the Earth. And so there's various stations throughout, orbiting Earth that basically clear a path so other craft can enter into space. So they can leave the Earth's atmosphere and safely make it into space. And you end up with this new guy who comes onto the ship, and he's supposed to be there to fix the computer, and then he's going to head back down. So he doesn't really bring any supplies with him. And the spaceship, there is a small piece of debris, and you can't really see what it is on the radar, but they're getting info from another satellite or ground control or something, letting them know that there's something in the area that they need to do a sweep. And they're like, well, it's a low level piece of debris. We're not really going to worry about it. But then it crashes into this other shuttle that's kind of going across. And then that's when things start to kind of change. So that's when things happen. That's the start of things. But no, I enjoyed the movie. It was ridiculous. Sometimes I was kind of like, I'm not sure what I'm watching. But then, I'm here listening to the voice of this computer named Wendy. And then I'm listening to this other voice. And I'm like, wait, that sounds familiar. Like, I know that voice. And then, it just kind of hits you like, that's George Takei. So, yeah.
So it was an animated film.
It was not an animated film.
Oh,
This
it
was
wasn't.
like live action.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I mean there was some animation because space debris,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But it was in general just it was a live action movie, and there was a robot on board the ship, and it was a female robot. And it was funny because she needed to connect into the ship's mainframe or whatever. And the cord goes below the equator. It was kind of weird.
oh.
So, yeah, it plugged into her vajayjay.
Ah, okay.
But
Got
it's
it.
implied. You don't actually see anything. So, it's like I said, it's kind of a ridiculous movie. It's a little weird. Sometimes I was like, what am I watching? But overall, I did enjoy it. So
judging, just because you put this as a pick on the alien invasion, I'm guessing that aliens come into the picture somewhere, or no?
yes, they do.
Okay.
Well, yes.
All right. All right.
In
So
other dimensions. So there you go.
big question. How many flying saucers would you give Space Milkshake?
I'd give it maybe like 3.5.
Okay. Wow. Higher score than I thought you were going to give it. Okay.
Yeah, I would say between 3 and 3.5, but I'll be nice. I'll go 3.5.
Excellent. All right. Good stuff. So we had Space Milkshake. We had National Park Secrets and Legends and U.F.Oh Yeah. And, you can click the links in the show notes to check out the picks. In fact, we put our Amazon affiliate links in the show notes. So if you're seriously interested in these things to watch them, go to those links, click on them, rent the movies or buy whatever they are, and a little something comes back to us for using our affiliate link. And that's another way that you can support the show or support the network. All right, so feedback time. We don't have any this week, but you can leave feedback for a upcoming show by going to, or just calling our voicemail number, which is 805-328-3966, 805-328-3966. Email aliens@gncasts.com as well. Subscribe to the podcast via iTunes. If you like what you hear, please give us 5 stars and a quick review. That gives us, that shows to others that this is a podcast that they should be listening to as well. And they'll tell their friends, and they'll tell their friends. That's how that works. We're also on Stitcher Smart Radio, or for the other subscription options, just click on the subscription tab at our website, gncasts.com. Before we go, final thoughts. Brad, you're up first.
I am trying to find in Fallout 4, there is a crashed alien ship.
I heard about that.
Yes. So, unfortunately, I need to be a few more levels higher before I can actually probably survive that encounter. So I'm working towards it.
You have the instructions on how to get there? Because I know that's a few things that you have to do.
I kind of know a general idea of where stuff is, and I need to find a cave. So
okay. Well, good luck to you, fine sir.
Thank you, sir. That is my quest.
All right. Anessa, what's your final thought?
I was right about Billy Boyd being Pippin or
All right.
Peregrine Took.
Good job.
And the Tooks were not as respectable as the Bagginses, though they were undoubtedly richer.
All righty then. On that note, thank you for listening to the Alien Invasion podcast. And until next time, we'll talk to you then.
Huzzah.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. That stopped. Gonna stop the hangout.